welcome to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. My name is Blake T. Wild. You may also know me as Smokey's Videos. Even though I haven't put out a video in quite a while, I'm very sorry. I have just been so fucking busy. Welcome to episode, 24 of the Comic Schtick Podcast. I have done this about 24 weeks, give or take. I've skipped a couple of weeks. I've had to skip them. But I'm still going strong, trying to release just something for people to watch on my channel while I'm trying to get the time to fucking work on the goddamn Crisis on Infinite Earths book. Why did it have to be so big? I think after I get that video out, I'm going to focus more on smaller, shorter stories for a little bit until I get around to Marvel's Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman. That's my next big one I have planned. You know, the two, compare and contrast the two companies' biggest multiversal crossovers. Why not? But today, I don't have my book right next to me like I usually do, so I gotta reach. Destructo Boy, The Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2, is on sale. And so will Part 2 of 2 and Part 1 of Issue 3. That is, Destructo Boy Issues 2 and 3 will be on sale soon as well. But currently, if you want to get ready for that release, which should be within the next month or so, I should have them, check out Destructo Boy Issue 1, The Era of Alpha Cardinal. It is about a little robot named Destructo Boy who is the only person on the Titanic Zephyrus space station who can even think of stopping the evil tyrant Alpha Cardinal. It is 20-something pages. It goes for $9.99, which is, $10 basically. On Etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. Make sure you capitalize the B, T, and W. Every purchase of a comic comes with a personalized, I don't know why I said personalized, a customizable sketch. Where am I getting at here? A head sketch of any character. Ow, I hit my desk. Any character of your choosing. It can be Cobra Commander. It can be Rogue. It can be, I don't know, Reed Richards. Or, hey, if you want me to draw you Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, that'll be a pretty easy one. But I will include a head sketch of any character of your choosing in with this book, and I'm going to be doing the same for the next coming issues. If you buy all three, I'll give you 3 head sketches. If you already got one and you get the other 2, I'll give you 2 head sketches. It's a head sketch per book, people. That's how I'm doing it. So that's always an option. If you don't want to pay for the shipping and everything, there is a digital version, which is just the PDF files. High resolution looks great. I actually had to split it up into 2 different files because it was too high resolution for Etsy. But that is $5 on Etsy.com/shop/BlakeTW. And here's the back cover as well if you're interested. That is Orin Aronitis, the leader of the Mechnomaniacs, which is a large sort of cyborg gang on Zephyrus Station. We see him in this book as well. But I'm just going to put this right over here for now. Try and lean it. I'm not going to lean it against my external hard drive because I feel like that's a bad idea. And let's get right into the episode. Starting off with some comic book related stuff. This week I got it on my phone, so I'm going to be looking down here a lot. Okay, so here's something. DC has revealed the Joker's name. But that might be Flashpoint related, but that doesn't really make sense because Joker isn't in Flashpoint. Martha Wayne becomes the Joker, so I guess the guy who would have been the Joker in Flashpoint, this is his name. I don't know. I don't read whatever comic this was in, but his real, quote-unquote, real name is Jack Oswald White. Get it? Jack the Ripper, Lee Harvey Oswald, and White because of his skin, I guess. That's like the only thing that really makes sense out of that dumb name. My favorite reaction to this in a Reddit thread was, it's like Jeff Johns read The Killing Joke and didn't get it. and is just trying to over-explain the Joker. I don't know if Jeff Johns is the guy who wrote this issue that it's from, or if, he's sort of the one behind this whole let's push the Joker. He did the Three Jokers dumb story. But yeah, so apparently a version of the Joker's real name is Jack Oswald White, which, again, is not a good name. It's 1/3 of Jack Napier, the name that they always give the Joker when they want to have him have a name that isn't John Doe. And, I don't dig it. Speaking of also some more comic book news, and that is Batman Spawn. We got more news about that. Is coming written by Todd McFarlane with art by Greg Capullo. So it's going to look really good, because Greg Capullo worked on Spawn and Batman for about 10 years, at least. Written by Todd McFarlane. Not the best writer. So, I'm not really looking forward to this. It's probably going to be about the same standards as the other two Spawn Batman crossovers, which aren't good. But Todd did, brandish some insider information that we had not previously known, and that is that the Court of Owls are going to be the main villain in this book, and they're going to be using Spawn as their, I guess not their Talon, or I guess it's kind of like their Talon, but I don't know how they're going to, brainwash Spawn or use some magic on him or something, or, the Violator is going to be involved with the Court of Owls and Malbolgia. Maybe they worship Malbolgia or something, so he sends Spawn to go help him, and they're, trying to fuck up Batman, so, what I wonder is, well, it would have to be, so, in the first Spawn Batman, I think it was the first one, the one I've covered, Spawn gets a batarang straight to the face, and then he ties it up with a shoelace, and for a year or two, that's what he looked like in the comics. So clearly Spawn is going to recognize Batman. But I wonder if they're going to make Batman recognize Spawn, which would mean that technically, if they've had previous interactions before, this might still be in the Frank Miller universe. But yeah, I'm not really excited about it. I'll pick it up, I guess, just to have. But yeah, nothing really interesting coming from that, I don't think. Aside from the fact that, DC is doing more cross-company crossovers. I don't know what the last ones they did were. But that's cool. It's a nice foot forward to some maybe more image character-based stuff. Hey, Invincible crossed over with Marvel. Why not have him cross over with the Teen Titans? Speaking of the Teen Titans and crossovers, Stargirl and Doom Patrol is apparently filming their crossover. I assume this is probably in an episode of Titans, because that seems like the most mainstream of the shows in terms of popularity. I doubt it's something like standalone, but that's neat. I've never watched Titans for obvious reasons. It looks terrible, and I've heard it is terrible, and it seems like most of their audience just hate watches it. Doom Patrol is amazing. I fucking love that show. And Stargirl, I haven't watched it either. It looks fun. Joel McHale is in it. It has a lot of Silver Agey comic aspects of it with their character design, so that's neat. But yeah, I've heard good things. I just haven't watched it yet. So that's a cool little crossover. I would like to see how that turns out. It's just a shame because it has Titans, and those are such 3 drastically different kinds of shows too, which is odd. So I wonder if it's going to be like a multiversal thing, or if it's saying that Titans, Doom Patrol, and Supergirl takes place in the same universe, which would be cool because, comic books from the same companies have drastically different tones. It's just that Titans is just seemingly trying to set itself in its own world so much that it doesn't seem like it wants to have the fun of being a comic book show like the other two are. So no other real word on that. Stay tuned for the Titans, Stargirl, Doom Patrol crossover. Morbius has released on Netflix. So if you haven't watched it, now is the perfect time to watch it and see what a carved up and sewn back together monstrosity that movie is. I said it when it first came out. I'll say it again. Fucking, it is a testament to Sony's... It is simultaneously a testament to Sony's hubris of like their own abilities, while also being their fear of their own failures. In that, you know, they still fucking made a Morbius movie about it, and they let the director do basically seemingly what he wanted, and then they're like, oh no, I don't want to release that. Let's fix it. And this is what they fixed it into. A fucking mess where you never see Tyrese Gibson's metal arm until the very end scene. That's on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, The Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out, and I hope the first of many sequels, because I would gladly watch just a mystery series starring Daniel Craig by Rian Johnson. It looks good. The trailer did not give away anything. You know, it's a murder mystery. Dave Bautista's there. Edward Norton's there. I can't remember who else is in the cast. Really great looking cast. Both physically and ability-wise. And it just looks like a lot of fun. There's like this cool like puzzle pieces that they're putting together, which are neat. Not really much else to say other than I am excited. This is... I don't know what was the most recent... I think the last like Netflix original thing that I watched was probably Guardians of Justice. But like I don't know if I've really ever watched any of their movies. Well, I guess Stranger Things Season 4. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever really watched a Netflix-produced film like this one. So this might be the first time I'm doing that. And this really seems like it's, you know, not something that would normally be on Netflix. Rian Johnson has that style to his films that, you know, it's going to set it apart from the other riff-raff that you can find on Netflix. Speaking of riff-raff, I guess, Joker Afuladu has added Catherine Keener to the cast. I don't really know who she is, but maybe she's playing Leslie Tompkins. That would be neat. I mean, I fucking who gives a shit? It's Leslie Tompkins. If Batman's not in the fucking story, what role is she gonna play that's interesting? So, you know, that's just a little add-on. And speaking of Warner Brothers and DC producing their new things, KEANUSTATINE! Constantine from like 2004, 2005, starring Keanu Reeves. It's getting a fucking sequel, baby. It is, oh my god. If Francis Lawrence and Keanu Reeves are back. Akiva Goldsman is writing the script. He wrote the script for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, among other things. I personally really like Batman Forever. It was my favorite as a child, and I still really like that movie. I love Val Kilmer's performance as Bruce Wayne. I think he is the best live-action Bruce Wayne we've gotten. But who else? Producing is Bad Robot's J.J. Abrams and Hannah Minghella. Minghella, I guess? So, holy shit, this makes me just want to go and rewatch Constantine because it has been a while since I've seen that film. I know it's nothing like the comics. I have the Hellblazer Omnibus, I know. But it's just such a good film. It's a fun movie. Shia LaBeouf is in it before he went crazy. Keanu Reeves is just... he's so sick and tired of everything that's happening in that film. It's such a fun movie. And like the monster and creature designs look really cool. Is Tilda Swinton in it? Isn't it Tilda Swinton, I think? I can't remember. Is she in that? I think so. I'm getting confused with something else, I feel. I'm not sure. Whatever. But I am very excited for this. Keanu-sance, now that the Brendan Fraser Renaissance is in effect. You know, he's had Bill and Ted. The third one, which was a big success. Matrix, which I don't know how well that came out. I don't care for the Matrix films, so I didn't watch it. But that's a big success. And the guy in head of, what's his name, Zaslav, is like, boom, big dollar signs coming out of his eyes as he looks over to like the old films from 20 years ago and what nostalgia bait he can use to win people over for their money so they can pay off their immense debt. But I am okay with this one. Still not okay with Batgirl getting canceled, but speaking of cancellations, Paper Girls. Paper Girls has been canned. It's been crumpled up and thrown in the bin. I love Paper Girls. It's a fucking amazing comic series by Brian K. Vaughan. It is such a quick read as well. Like, I finished the first trade in like a day or so, and it usually takes me a while to read 6 issues just because I'm a slow reader. I really like to get the full impact of what I'm reading. I'd like to, I've talked about this before. I like to make it an experience. I don't just like to read, something like that. Like, in my head, I add like character inflections and like, emotion to the dialogue. So it feels, it's more of that experience. Like I was saying, it's like I'm watching a movie or something. It's like I'm watching real people in this little 2D universe, and I'm just peering down from a higher dimension. But anyway, I did not watch this show. Just been too busy. I've barely been watching anything aside from She Hulk, and I finally am catching back up with Wellington Paranormal, which is a fucking great show. Oh my god, I love it so much. But I am disappointed that Paper Girls got canceled. I did not check it out, mainly because I was kind of like, worried about how they were adapting it. Like, it seems like from the trailer I saw that they've just like fast forward through that first arc, and that's such a great fun arc. Like, the girls and the reader both learn about what's happening, how the time travel works, the out of time like security force or whatever they're called. But like, and then it ends with the fucking amazing cliffhanger of like, oh my god, she's in the fucking future. Like, they go to the future and meet Annie, is that her name, when she's an adult. That seems like it happens pretty early in this show, if not, maybe halfway through the season, if not earlier than that. I don't know how many episodes it is, but it is a shame that it did get canceled. Brian K. Vaughan's stuff just seems to get canceled after a season, I think. So here's the final thing that isn't MCU related. That is Spider-Verse leaks. We got some more Spider-Verse leaks, people. Some merchandise, it's like a puzzle or something, has been released showing a cyborg Spider-Man, which looks just fucking like the dimension he's coming from is just gnarly. It looks very like 90s jagged, scratchy hash marks. But aside from him, there's also Spider-Punk, which I can't remember if I spoke about this before, but initially people started posting photos they were finding in stores of like Spider-Punk's guitar as like inspired by Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. And then eventually that built into, oh shit, look, there's a Spider-Punk like image on the back of this box. And now it's full on, you can see what Spider-Punk looks like in the film, and he looks like Spider-Punk. Ben Reilly Spider-Man is going to be in this. I know a lot of people love Ben Reilly. I don't give a shit about him. 2099, obviously. And then Spider-Woman as well. The Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. So I am really looking forward to those 2 movies. I wonder how many of, like... I feel like... Well, because the villain's Spot, at least as far as we know, the Spot. So I assume it's going to be building to something, and then in the second film is where all of this stuff comes into play. Like, the first film is probably going to be somewhat more what we know, like returning cast, and then the second film is where whatever cast from the first film doesn't show up in the second film, they'll show up in the third one, along with all these new characters. All right, let's get into She Hulk. If anybody's listening to this and wondering what I'm doing, I was winking at the camera a lot. She Hulk, episode 4. I'm glad I got to talk about this before this next episode comes out, because I have seen episode 5. It's one of those rare occasions where I am caught up. This show is clearly taking 3 episode story arcs. That's what's happening. First episode was an intro, setting up the premise. Setting up the first arc. Second episode, third episode, all had to deal with Emil Blonsky and his trial. Fourth episode was the Magic Guy, Donnie Blaze. Fifth episode was Titania. Sixth episode is going to be some other court case, possibly involving a certain lawyer character, and that will lead into the final 3 story arcs, or final 3 episode story arc, which is a really good way to do it. I really enjoy this format more so than all the past MCU shows, which was just one continuous storyline all across each episode. I really do like that. Donnie Blaze, fun character. This is episode 4 I'm focusing on now. He's a fun character. Not really much to say about him. The Legal Ease Bar is a very clever name. Oh my god, and then, what is her name? Madison. Of course, Madison. How can I forget Madison? Madison and Wongers. I really enjoy, I fucking love this show. Okay, I know I seemingly say this about every new MCU Disney Plus show that comes out, but this one is my favorite. I talked about it maybe last episode or the episode prior about what my ranking is. I think it was last episode, because that was the She Hulk one. But yeah, right now She Hulk is at the top. I think Hawkeye is second. And I don't know, just go watch last episode to find out my rankings of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. I just love this show. I love everything about it. Speaking of Madison, so everybody's like, oh my god, Madison. They're doing like the fucking, the pop, fucking poetry, slam poetry. Mad I sin. Anyway, everybody was like, oh my god, you know who else's name is Sin? That's the Red Skull's daughter, who was in Fear itself. That all-right event, which isn't too bad, but I own nearly every fucking issue of. I don't own every issue. I own almost every trade collection of it, because this comic book seller really wanted to get rid of them at a convention. I was like, hey, I'll give me $20 and you can have these 6 or 7 books. No, she's not Sin. She's not the Red Skull's daughter. Although that would be funny because she's played by someone whose last name is Guggenheim. I doubt we're ever going to get anything from Jake the Goat Demon in Hell that she made a deal with. I doubt that's anything, although I do like the theory that someone I saw posted, which was Jake the Goat Demon wants to use her to like spy on Wong, and that's why he sent her to Wong's house at the Carmitage. That's where he is, right? That's Carmitage, isn't it? Or is that the Sanctum? Because for now, I just assumed that it was Carmitage, just because it didn't look like anything else in the Sanctum Sanctorum, but fucking Sanctum Sanctorum can look whatever it wants to. But now that I'm thinking about it, was it the Sanctum? Did they ever say where he is? I don't know. Anyway, I doubt that's going to be a thing. We might see Madison again. It'll probably be like, if the last episode airs and we get 2 credit scenes, one will like be Madison and Wong, and if there is anything dark about her, they'll be revealed there, or we're never going to see him again. Let's see. And a very fun little tidbit is during the court case, when she is brought up to the stand, and she like says her name, she's like, what is, it's with a Y, but not where you think. She's so fucking great. The lawyer for Donnie Blaze, you could see him erasing what he just wrote. Like, the Y is exactly where you expect it to be, right? Also, during the scene of Wong, like, giving his testimony about the safety of the universe being in peril because of Donnie Blaze, like, he gets a fucking look on his face that's like, maybe I can, like, he's like, maybe I can get an idea. I'm getting an idea out of this of something I can do to destroy the universe and take over. Like, there's something turning in his head on, like, some scheme he can do. So the Jennifer Jennifer's dates, the dating montage. I have a couple notes here that are now out of date. Wyatt Wingfoot was who I thought that bald doctor was going to be. Wyatt Wingfoot, if you're unaware, is a Native American superhero. If you weren't thinking about it, he is. I don't know when he first appeared, but he was big in the Jonathan Byrne in the John Byrne She-Hulk run. I think he was in the Fantastic Four when she was on there. He might have been a Fantastic Four character now that I think about it. I don't know much about him, like I said, outside of the She-Hulk run. But he and She-Hulk are, like, it's the best relationship that she has in the comics, is those two. Because they're both fucking superheroes. They're both super strong and tall and, like, kind-hearted. So they have great chemistry together, and I really enjoy them together. And I wish Marvel would bring back Wyatt Wingfoot. I don't know what the fuck was the last thing he was ever in. Maybe he's just still at I think he had a ranch in, like, New Mexico or something that he and Jen would go and stay at for, like, just to get out of the town or something every now and then. But that's who I thought that doctor was. And then I saw how he treated Jennifer in the morning, and I was like, no! Wyatt would never do that! I did that during the show. I was talking to my fiance, and I was like, oh yeah, I think it's Wyatt Wingfoot. And then when that happened, I just burst out like that. I hope that they introduce Wyatt Wingfoot into this show. That would be awesome. Let's see. Oh, and then another thing about the date is, what the fuck is that specimen guy? Who the hell is he, says my note. And then another note I have from just about an hour ago, as I was sitting on the turlet thinking about what I was going to talk about, I realized that nerdy guy who's like, oh, you're quite a specimen. So at first, okay, here's a little pre-bit. At first I was like, okay, he's clearly the guy who hired the wrecking crew to get Jen's blood, right? What's a Hulk villain, or who is a Hulk villain who is, like, sort of weedy and nebbish and ugly? That guy's not conventionally attractive, no offense. Who, like, is into genetics and sometimes robots. And I was like, it's the Gremlin. He's the Gremlin. And the Gremlin, if you don't know, is this little person, midget, dwarf guy. I don't know what he is. He's gross looking, though. He's a fucking little monster man who is a Russian character, and you can know he's Russian because he used to have the hammer and sickle on his chest, who was an enemy for the Hulk. And that's who I thought it was. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. They're bringing in more live-action Hulk villains. I dig it. But then I remembered the trailer. And the trailer of this show has Frogman in it. Or Leapfrog, whichever name he goes by. And I was like, oh my god. We haven't fucking seen Frogman yet. This dude is Frogman. He kind of resembles a frog, too, if you want to be mean. But yeah, he's got to be Frogman, right? He's the guy. Oh, I fucking closed my notes. Whoops. I remember there were leaks that were like, oh yeah, he's like a knockoff wannabe Tony Stark. This guy dresses like he's, he is rich because he has the lawyer, and he's like, I think he said he works in tech, maybe. Something along those lines. He's clearly a rich guy who thinks highly of himself and his abilities with women. So he wants to be like Tony Stark. And he's definitely Frogman, right? Okay. My final note for episode 4 is that I still think Kingpin is involved in some way. He could be the guy who's trying to get She-Hulk's blood, because, like, that's how he's going to get his eyes back after being blinded by Echo in the Hawkeye show. Which, oh my god. Oh, fuck. Thank God Christmas is almost here so I can rewatch Hawkeye. Okay, moving on to episode 5 of She-Hulk. First note, Tatiana Maslany is so expressive with her acting and just her facial expressions. She is such a physical actor, and I love it. I love her as this role. Oh, god damn it. I wish I could remember the casting director. What is her name? She's been the casting director on, like, every single MCU project, and she is just the fucking best. She knows how to pick them. She picked another one, and it is so good. The sneakerhead lawyer, he gets to come back. He's the guy who was in the shape-shifting elf episode. I don't know what's going on with my throat. I really like that guy. I really like him. I don't know if they've ever said his name. Watch him be Wyatt Wingfoot, and I just don't realize it. But I really like that guy. He's a good actor. He has a fucking great face. I think I said that also last time when I was talking about him. What is he? He was in something. Was he in, like, The Flash, maybe? Something like that? I can't remember. But I really dig him and Nikki in this episode. Those are two great supporting cast members. The She Hulk series, specifically the John Byrne one, since that's the best, they always have great supporting casts. And now I'm wondering if Wheezy will ever make her appearance in this show. The Avengers, I can't wait to see that pop up on the Disney Plus store. I love Nikki. There's my note right there. She is great. What is her name? Ginger Gazanga? Is that right? Something like that, I think. She's perfect in this show. She's such fun. Just both of them fucking fully rocking the regalia of knockoff Avengers items and merch. And I love how the sneakerhead lawyer just immediately goes for it. They're such fun characters. It's a very good dichotomy, I guess, for what Matt Murdock has. While Jennifer has her silly, non-binary, gender, or like queer, gay, I don't know what she says. I think she's gay, or supposed to be gay, or bi, whatever. She has her and Nikki, who's like a fun-loving girl who just likes to party and have fun. And then she has the fucking sneakerhead guy who's just a dorky dude with a really expensive hobby. And then on the other side, and they all get along really well. And then on the other side, you have Matt Murdock, who's a fucking Catholic who hates himself. Foggy Nelson, who wants to be better and like get out of Matt's shadow and sort of resents him for it, but also loves him because they're like brothers. And what is her name? Played by Deborah Ann Wall. Oh my god, Karen. And then you have Karen, who, she is also has a pretty depressing backstory. I think, if I remember correctly. And like she's kind of like, she wants to be her own thing too. Like none of them seemingly want to be together and hang out together, even though they are friends. But these three on this side are just like, fucking let's go and do whatever. It's such a fun little back and forth, when you think about it. I don't know where I'm going with this. I lost my train of thought. The Drip Broker. I love him, love his outfit, love his hair, love his rings, love his entire wardrobe. If I could afford it, I would dress like him. The Drip Broker reminded me of something which I feel many won't talk about, or, won't associate with this. And that is Grant Morrison's new X-Men. Because in that series, there's an issue that goes about detailing how this mutant fashion designer is assassinated. And there's this whole, Grant Morrison, I fucking love it, and it's never continued after their run. They go into, mutant culture and subculture. Mutant fashion, mutant restaurants, mutant stores, mutant neighborhoods, stuff like that. Like, the mutants, subculture in the mainstream culture's, identity. Not identity, in the world. It's just such a cool concept of seeing, oh yeah, mutants, this is part of what they do, this and that. They have mutant celebrities, like the fashion designer in the book that's killed, and there's candlelit vigils and everything, being a mutant and being, it's basically gay subculture. It's gay culture, you know, is what it essentially is. It's any non-normative culture is what Morrison really used it as. And I really like that. And this is a really cool sort of step in that direction that I hope the MCU takes. I hope that they use a lot, or I hope they use a good amount of influence from Grant Morrison's new X-Men run in the MCU. But I really like She-Hulk because of things like the Drip Broker. And that is that She-Hulk is such a low-level show, low stakes, nothing big or crazy happening. We can see the real world of the MCU. There's the fucking shit people have to do with, like, shape-shifting elves from New Asgard, tricking them with identity theft. And that's just something that happens. This magician over here, he actually knows magic and is fucking up the universe with it. You know, just stuff like that. And it's slow. It's its own world now. It still resembles our universe, but it's a couple years in the future, and there's all this crazy shit that can happen, and that is fairly normal, or pretty normal. Titania, she is a super powered influencer. She's just powered somehow, probably like Power Broker or something. But that's the thing. And what the Drip Broker represents in the MCU is the culture of superhumans. We see that he has a reputation. He's been doing this for a while now. We see the mannequins with the outfits all done up. He has fucking so many employees. He does like weaponry and shit. He's like Melvin in Daredevil, except with a better, resources. Fucking Daredevil's going to him now. Which kind of sucks for Melvin. I don't know what he's up to. I still haven't seen season 3 of Daredevil, by the way. But I really like that. I want to see more stuff like this, like the down-to-earth, as down-to-earth as you can be in the Marvel Universe, but like I want to see the lower-level stuff. I want to see how the world has changed to accommodate the new ecosystem of superhumanity. And this Drip Broker is something I really dig, and I really hope that there's a season 2 of She-Hulk, so we can see more of the lower-level, like, superhuman stuff that the world just has to deal with outside of every other Avengers movie. And of course, Daredevil. He's back. He might be in the next episode, acting as, like, I assume he's going to only appear in one episode, and I'd imagine it's going to be the next one. He's going to come to town, pick up his suit, which, this is a very comic book premise, by the way. Like, oh, Daredevil's in town to come pick up his suit. That's how the issue begins. And then it cuts to the main story with She-Hulk. And then eventually, Daredevil does his investigation. They both come together. This is a very comic book show, which is another reason I dig it. But I imagine this is going to be the only appearance Daredevil makes it in. That's not bad or anything. I wasn't really expecting him to show up in multiple episodes. But that's cool. I really dig it. I like the suit. I didn't think I would, just because the yellow suit has never really been my favorite, obviously. I don't know anyone who has the yellow suit as their favorite. It's a cool design, especially if it's been reworked. Like, I think Rafael Grampa, he did it more as, like... Is it Rafael Grampa? I think so. No, it wasn't Paul Pope. Yeah, no, I think it was Grampa. He did, like, a redesign for it, for just something that makes it more like... It's like boxer attire, like it's a long sleeve boxer, or it's like a long sleeve yellow shirt with like the padding and shit, and like the boxer trunks. So, if it can be redesigned, I think it looks better than just the original suit, which is just that skin tight spandex. And this one is redesigned, and it does look really cool. I do dig it. I like that they're doing that more classic coloring. I can't wait for Charlie Cox to be back. Let's see. Wrapping up the She-Hulk, I love the music. I really dug the song that played during the credits. Say My Name by Trove, something like that. She's Scandinavian, maybe Finnish, maybe not. But yeah, every song that plays during these credits, I absolutely love. They've been a bop. It's a word people still use. A banger, I guess. It slaps. But yeah, I really dig the music in this show. This and Miss Marvel have had the best songs throughout. And I'm glad that unlike Miss Marvel, She-Hulk doesn't have music to underscore, like, action scenes. There haven't really been that many action scenes in the show anyway, but I didn't like that about Miss Marvel, primarily because they just didn't work well. Go check out my videos on Miss Marvel to find out why. But that wraps up my new discussion on She-Hulk. I'm looking forward to episode 6 and the last 3 episodes in total. I really think that this will be a show, a Disney Plus show that, you know, comes around at the end. I don't see this disappointing like it has for a lot of other people for the previous Marvel shows. The only show I've been disappointed by in the ending, I think it was Miss Marvel. It was felt very abrupt. But yeah, I can't wait. And now, moving on to D23, which means what, by the way? I don't know what that means. But that's just what they call it for some reason. So this is going to just encapsulate the D23 news, beginning with The Little Mermaid. Apparently it had a trailer release. I didn't watch it. Moving on. Pinocchio was released, and I didn't watch it. I don't care. Moving on. I'm waiting for the Guillermo del Toro version to come out. Some more news about the Black Panther Captain America video game, which I spoke about a little while ago, back when it was just very basic information. But this is slightly less basic. It's going to be set during World War II. It's going to be a 4-player video game campaign, which I don't like the sound of that. And it's going to be Captain King Soldier Spy, the sequel to Tinker Tailor. So yeah, it's going to be the King, so T'Chaka, I'd assume, unless they put T'Challa back in the 40s. The Captain America, Soldier, Bucky, probably, Dum-Dum Dugan, Nick Fury, one of the Howling Commandos. It probably, if it was a Howling Commando, it's either Dum-Dum Dugan or Nick Fury. And the Spy, which I guess is either, I think it's Dora Milaje. But that's neat, I guess. No actual footage, just the rendered cinematic of like showing like some Hydra blueprints and shit, and it kind of reminded me of the opening of a Fallout game where it does that like slow pan out into the fucking wasteland. But you know, that's neat. Hopefully it does better and is better than the Avengers video game. Hopefully it's closer to the level of the Spider-Man video game, which is apparently the sequel is being worked on, I think. There is coming to Avengers Campus at Disney World or Land, maybe both. The Multiverse attraction announced for Avengers Campus in Disneyland or World. The heroes from across the multiverse will take on King Thanos. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what this is going to be. I assume it's a ride. And it's a ride, and they'll probably mean more characters roaming the area. In the poster, we see Kamala Khan, Moon Knight, Daredevil, fucking Man-Thing. Who else? I feel like there's another one I'm missing, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, new attraction. You know, it says attraction, so it's going to be a ride of some sort. You're probably, what is it called? Okay, it's going to be the multiversal thing. So how can they turn that into a ride? Either it's going to be all screens, or it's going to be those crazy animatronics like they have. It's going to be the animatronics mixed with like the screens, like the Rise of Resistance ride at Disney in the Star Wars land, Batuu. So that's neat. I've never been to Disneyland or World in my life. So, you know, maybe I'll go once this is open in 8 years or however long, depending on how this works, again, because they didn't say how or what it is. Moving on, Ironheart news. Anthony Ramos, who you may know from Hamilton as Who did he play? Can't remember. He played Hamilton's son and another guy that he was friends with. John something, maybe? I don't remember. Anthony Ramos has been confirmed to be in Ironheart, and he is playing the Hood. The Hood is a weird-ass character who is a street-level villain who has a magical hood that allows him to, like, shoot demon bullets and be a demon man and use dark magic and shit, and he primarily uses it to just be a gang boss. Or gang lord, whatever. Another actor who has been confirmed is Jim Rash. Jim Rash played the Dean in Community, and he is going to be reprising his role as, let me see this here, it's quite a, let's see, what is his, it's quite a long name, MIT Liaison from Captain America Civil War. So, yeah, if you remember in Civil War, when Tony Stark is doing his, like, a holographic past opening at MIT, Jim Rash is, like, the liaison coordinator backstage, and this is seemingly because Riri Williams is going to attend MIT. Or is already attending MIT, depending on how, what's it called, Wakanda Forever plays out. We'll see where she is. Fantastic Four. We got Fantastic Four news that people did not expect and seemed disappointed by, but we're still excited for. Matt Shakman is to direct Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four in theaters November 8th, 2024. So, you know, no new casting or anything from that. Disappointing a little bit, but yeah, no, that's fine. I look forward to the tease. Marvel, I can edge. Thunderbolts. Concept art has been revealed, showing 5 people who do the same thing, which I'm sure is the meme everybody has talked about. It is Bucky Barnes, Yelena, Red Guardian, who else? Ghost, and a 6th person. Oh, Taskmaster. That's right. The Taskmaster lady from Civil War. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus. But, as people have pointed out, this lineup is not the best, because it is 5 people with superhuman abilities, in terms of strength and stamina and agility, and 1 person who actually has powers that are effective, and that is Ghost, played by the beautiful Hannah John Kamen. Hannah John Kamen. It's nice to see her back. I've been waiting for them to bring Ghost back. I'm very excited that she's back in this. Ghost was an Iron Man villain. It was a he in the comics. I don't know if the identity was ever revealed. I feel like it wasn't. But it would be cool to see, you know, something involving, like, some sort of tie-in with Ghost and Armor Wars once that's released, or before that's released. Armor Wars is still in the works, is still under production. They've just been having issues or something. I assume it has to do with Don Cheadle's contract, which is, apparently he's no longer under contract, so I assume the Armor Wars delay is due to Don Cheadle and his lawyers, you know, reworking the contract with Disney and their lawyers. But yeah, Thunderbolts, and I feel that, you know, it's concept art to get people excited for the film. They're not going to show fucking everything. So I feel that there's, you know, Zemo can still appear. Abomination, maybe, but probably not. Like, this definitely is not going to be the entire team. There's got to be at least 1 or 2 extra people who are going to appear in the film. Let's see. Echo, Kingpin is set to return, obviously. Who didn't see that coming? He's going to show up. He's going to have the cool little... he's going to have the cool little sunglasses because he's blind. I hope he doesn't have an eye patch. If he does have an eye patch, I hope he has 2 eye patches. 1 over each eye. So that's, you know, that's good. That was a given, seemingly since the show was announced. Daredevil Born Again. They didn't really give us much, aside from the name and the logo. It's called Born Again. It's not going to have anything to do with the Frank Miller run, because they basically already did everything Frank Miller in the Netflix show. This is just a fun little name, like Spider-Man Homecoming, Daredevil Born Again. Oh, he's back. But Marvel we're doing it this time. Actual Marvel. Not Marvel TV. Again, I hope they take more from... If anything, now that Kingpin has been blinded, it's going to be based out of the Bendis run, which is just god-awful for Matt Murdock, so, oh boy, he's in for a rough ride. And I am personally hoping that they take more influence from the Ann Nocenti run, just because I fucking love Ann Nocenti's Daredevil. Captain America New World Order. I am very excited for this, because the Leader is back. The Leader, played by Craig T. Nelson, that is his name, first appeared in The Incredible Hulk in 2008. He's that guy who Bruce goes to some sort of university to get help with. He's the guy he's talking to him online. It's when Tim Roth attacks and becomes the Abomination. But the Leader appears in there, and he gets fucking tossed across the room by Abomination, I think, and gamma blood drips onto his head, and it starts like pulsating, and he starts smiling like crazy, and then we never see him again. Except there was a tie-in comic that came out maybe between the time that did and the Black Widow, or maybe it was around... It might have been around either Iron Man 2 or Avengers, because it dealt with Black Widow. And it was a comic tie-in that showed the aftermath of, I think, like, the Battle of Harlem. No, that wasn't the Battle of Harlem. That takes place later, at the end of the film. Or was it? Did the Battle of Harlem, was that led into by the university scenes? No. Maybe. No, wait. No, I got those mixed around. Bruce Banner is getting his blood removed, and then something else happens. It's not when Tim Roth becomes Abomination. That happens earlier, I think. Fuck, it's been so long since I've watched Incredible Hulk. I really like it as a movie. It's just been a while. But anyway, she goes to the university. S.H.I.E.L.D. is there. They're covering everything up. They're taking away evidence. Effessence? They're taking away evidence. And she goes in looking for, like, Craig T. Nelson, the Leader. But he's not there. And there's like footprints leading away. So ever since then, people have been like, where the fuck is the Leader? The Leader's still in the MCU. Why is nobody talking about this? Why are you putting the white vest on me? Where am I going? That's what happened every time somebody asked where the Leader was. But now we know. And he is back, baby. And he's going to be fighting Captain Goddamn America. There's also rumors... So there's a lot of rumors, obviously. There's going to be more Hulks. That's the first thing I have down. More Hulk, gamma-powered, gamma-irradiated people. On the other side, there's also the Serpent Society. People are saying the Serpent Society are the villains. Serpent Society in the comics, they're snake-themed villains. But that could mean, if they go that route, where it's like... Well, you know, if they don't go the route of, hey, we all got together because we're snake-themed, isn't that weird? If they go the route of, like, oh, we're a snake-based organization, then they could have Moon Knight, because they could be, like, some sort of, like, you know, pagan god or ancient Egyptian god, something weird and religious that Moon Knight gets involved in. Alternatively... they could be gamma-powered Snake Hulks, which is the name of my band. But it's also something that could happen in this movie. And that would be, the Leader is, like, experimenting with genetics, and he makes gamma-powered snake people. And they become the Serpent Society. You know, as much as the MCU adapts it. So that's... If the Serpent Society is in this film, I'm thinking it's the latter of the Leader creates them as snake monster men. But, you know, I'm fine with either one. As long as I get some creepy-looking snake people in my Captain America movie, I'm good. It is described as a paranoid thriller. And, oh, this is causing some uproar. Shira Haas is playing an Israeli superhero named Sabra. I don't know if that's like a original thing for this movie or if it's a comic book character. I've never heard of that before. But people are annoyed or people are upset because, you know, it's Israeli and it's Sabra, some sort of massacre. I'm not informed enough to comment on it. But Marvel has come out and be like, no, I'm so sorry, that's not what we meant at all, blah, blah, blah. You know, we didn't mean to offend, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, personally, I don't have any stake in this, so I won't, I have no comment on that. Just let me talk about my Snake Men. Secret Invasion got a trailer, and holy shit does it look good. This feels like the swan song for Nick Fury. This is Nick Fury's endgame, because remember, Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury has been in the MCU as long as fucking Robert Downey Jr. was, and longer, because he's still alive. He's been in the film since 2008, and he's still going. He's like 80. Oh, it wasn't ale. Turned into Jerry Seinfeld. It looks really good. It's a really fun looking, spy thriller story, which, makes sense because it's Nick Fury. It felt very in line with Winter Soldier, just like from the color grading to the music to the action and shown in this. It felt like Winter Soldier. I wonder what effect it's going to have on Armor Wars, because Armor Wars is basically just what happens in the comics, and that is, hey, some people are trying to steal Tony Stark's tech, Rhodey has to stop them. But we see Rhodey in this trailer, and he could be getting replaced by a Skrull if he hasn't been already. So, how's that going to work with Armor Wars? Olivia Colman will debut as Special Agent Sonya Falsworth, and Kingsley Ben-Adir as Rebel Skrull leader Gravik. The Falsworth family, speaking of Sonya Falsworth, in the comics have served as Union Jack. So this could be our first introduction to Union Jack in the MCU, which brings up something I forgot to talk about last week when I talked about the alleged casting or like contract creations for different actors. Giancarlo Esposito was one of them. Henry Cavill was another. And I didn't think about it then, but I thought about it since. And now that I'm on the topic of British superheroes, I think Henry Cavill is going to play Captain Britain. He looks exactly like Captain Britain. That's mainly what I'm basing it off of. But I'm also basing it off of the fact that the MCU is now in its multiverse saga, or whatever they're calling it now. They're doing multiverse stuff. And Captain Britain is a multiversal character. The Captain Britons from across the multiverse have come together and created the Captain Britain Corps as a multiversal police organization. So it adds up, people. It all adds up. He says as he put the red twine to different pictures of Henry Cavill. That's what I'm thinking. So if they're going to have Captain Britain be in the MCU, played by Henry Cavill, then they need some more British characters to go alongside him, hence why Union Jack is going to appear probably in Secret Invasion. But yeah, back to Secret Invasion. Possibly also a Super Skrull? Maybe there's a Super Skrull. Super Skrulls weren't really the Super Skrull wasn't really important in the Secret Invasion comic because Super Skrull couldn't transform. He just looked gross, and what he does normally, which is a Skrull body with different limbs of the different Fantastic Four characters. So I don't think that we're gonna be seeing him. If we do, it's not gonna be it's not going to be a Fantastic Four version. It's going to be just a highly powered Skrull, like a yoked Skrull. It's going to be like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where the Kree had that juice that they would drink that would turn them into berserkers. It's going to be something like that, I bet. Or in Thor the Dark World, where there's that dark elf that gets fucking real big. It's going to be like that. And I think that's all I have to say on Secret Invasion. Like I said, I really liked the trailer. I thought it looked really good, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'm glad to see fucking what's his name is back, Ben Mendelsohn. Werewolf by Night also had its trailer released, and I know there's been that whole rumor like, oh, it got cut in half the runtime because the actor didn't like wearing the suit, blah blah blah. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't give a shit about that. I just want to talk about how fucking amazing this show looks. This trailer was incredible. I love it. I love it. I loved everything about it. The schlocky 50s-esque horror, B-movie horror, that is amazing. If this was in 4x3, it would be even better. Like, just fucking full-on Justice League by Zack Snyder. Just do that and put it on Disney+. Have it be Werewolf by Night. They got, like, the film grain. They have the little... during the trailer, you can see the little circle that would appear. Let's see, where would that appear on the camera? Like right there or so. Like that little burn mark is what it is. And that would be how projectionists knew how to switch out the film reels. Was, you know, when it gets close to this little, hey, where that mark is, that's where you put the new reel in at. So they got everything going on here. I really love the aesthetic of it. So, you know, I'm excited. Full on excited. Let's see. So I have here. What I have in this, if you don't want to be spoiled by this, go on to the next section. But I have a synopsis from Disney Plus about the show, or the special. And I have rumored leaks from a month ago on the MCU, Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit. So first I'm going to read off the synopsis. If you want to listen to that, go ahead and then just skip ad. Let me do this properly. I'll try to do my best Vincent Price impression. It's not very good. On a dark and somber night, a secret cabal of monster hunters emerge from the shadows and gather at the foreboding Bloodstone Temple, following the death of their leader. In a strange and macabre memorial to the leader's life, the attendees are thrust into a mysterious and deadly competition for a powerful relic hunt that will ultimately bring them face to face with a dangerous monster. So, you know, it's not exactly the rumored story plotline I commented on a couple months ago. But it still could happen. That Elsa Bloodstone is hunting down the werewolf by night, and then they team up to fight the actual monster. But here is the rumors that are possibly true, possibly aren't, that I got. Let's see. The special opens with a Hitchcock-style intro, a man in glasses telling the audience to expect chills and thrills. It starts out with a bounty hunter hunting down Jack Russell. They fight, and Jack kills the bounty hunter. Jack Russell, if you're unaware, is the name of the werewolf. They fight, Jack kills him, steals his ID, and there's a short exposition dump explaining the Bloodstone Legacy. The Bloodstone Legacy is Elsa Bloodstone. It is it's a gemstone that's red, like blood. And it makes them, I think it makes them immortal, essentially. In essence, it makes them immortal so they can hunt down monsters, is what it is. They're the best monster hunters in the world, best monster hunters of history. And now her father has died, and she must take over the Bloodstone, I guess. I think she's the woman in the trailer that gets locked in the cage. I forget what the actual actress is that was rumored to play her, but I believe it is her. Her hair looks red in black and white. If you go look at the fucking Bride of Frankenstein, her hair was red. Maybe it doesn't, now that I'm thinking about it. It might be too dark, but who knows. I think it is also Bloodstone, though, the woman in like the white top and that's screaming in the cage. Anyway, back to the spoilers. Jack infiltrates the Bloodstone Manor, where he meets Elsa, who is brooding about returning to the manor due to her father's death. Harriet Sampson's character, source says that she was Elsa's stepmom or mother, berates her for not taking her father's legacy seriously. Oh, excuse me. In the manor, there are about 4 other elite bounty hunters who hunt monsters in secret. Harris's character rolls out one of those talking genie machines, which we see in the trailer. It plays a recording of the dead Bloodstone's final will. He wants the group to hunt a creature who has been enraged by the Bloodstone. They are told to enter a maze and can use any weapon they want. Battle Royale style, says the comments. Elsa gets pulled into the maze with everyone else. She meets with Jack and sees through his disguise. It kind of sounds like that episode of Star Wars Clone Wars where Obi-Wan gets like facial reconstructive surgery to look like this bounty hunter and goes and competes in this like Battle Royale bounty hunter games. It's a really good episode. Let's see. She sees through the disguise. They're both attacked by one of the bounty hunters. Elsa shows off her moves. At some point, Jack meets up with Man-Thing, and they have a connection with one another. Elsa and Jack stick together, and a few bounty hunters get picked off by Man-Thing, which means they're going to get burnt alive, because for some inexplicable reason, Man-Thing can burn people. Also, now that I think about it, Man-Thing is also a multiversal character, because he guards the, like, temporal fucking gateway black wormhole into other universes or something. It's where Howard the Duck came from. Let's see. Jack and Elsa get locked into a crypt. Jack delivers a speech about getting out of the family legacy, which does sound like the last rumors that I spoke of, which was, it had to do with his family sort of was cursed and inherits the werewolf, the lycanthropy. Elsa breaks open one of her dead relatives' graves and finds a hook shot that helps him escape the crypt. I assume that's like a grappling gun. I don't know what a hook shot is. At this point, Jack tries to blow away a wall to help Man-Thing escape. It's revealed that the Bloodstone is attached to Man-Thing and causing him pain. Oh, poor Man-Thing with his big, ruddy face and horrible red eyes. Let's see. Jack is captured along with Elsa. Wait, yeah, that is... I thought I read that wrong for some reason. So all 3 of them are trapped, or captured, rather. And it's before they can get the stone, and they realize that the hunt wasn't for Man-Thing, it was for Jack. It was all a bait. It was all a lure. They knew he would come. Next, they're back in the manor, and Elsa and Jack are in a cage, so there we go. Harris's character uses the Bloodstone to force Jack to transform into a werewolf, and before he changes, he sniffs Elsa in hopes that he'll remember her when he transforms. He transforms, they can't control him, which we see in the trailer. It's the silhouetted scene. He destroys all the guards and attacks Elsa. I like the archaic medieval setting this is in, also mixed with the sort of futuristic modern day regalia of the guards like in the trailer. I love this whole aesthetic. There's a reason I absolutely adored Guardians of Justice on Netflix, and that's because it's basically this. Let's see. He stops before killing Elsa because he recognizes her scent. Elsa kills the remaining bodyguards, and Harris prepares to use the Bloodstone to kill Elsa. But then Man-Thing appears and, quote, yeets her into the genie machine, and she bursts into flames in a pretty hilariously gruesome death. Elsa points Man-Thing in the direction of the werewolf that the werewolf ran off in, and she sits down, essentially reclaiming the Bloodstone in her legacy. At this point, the black and white changes to color, so that is really cool that they're going to be playing with that shift. The final stinger is a stupid joke where Jack wakes up to find that Man-Thing found and took care of him, and they agree to get sushi after. And then they have a couple of notes at the bottom. Jack refers to Man-Thing as Theo. There aren't references to any other MCU shows or movies. Harris's character was said to be a standout. She's, I assume, the woman that's screaming in the trailer. That like old, she's the older woman. I think it's her eye or her close up of her face and eye that we see. So that might be, when Man-Thing shows up. Because it does say she does burst into flames, and Man-Thing, I don't remember how his powers work. I think he might have something similar to Ghost Rider where he stares into their eyes, but I'm pretty sure it's just on touch. But it could be both in this show. Whatever. Who cares? It's Man-Thing. Her performance is super campy, which is amazing. And Werewolf by Night suit was practical and reminded this person of the monkey suit from Planet of the Apes. And that is Werewolf by Night. I have nothing else to say about it other than I'm super excited. I love this style that Marvel is going to. I hope that they take this route for more characters of just creative difference. Just stop doing the same formula. The beginning stuff of WandaVision was incredible when they were going through the different decades. That was the best part of that show. And then this is what I want more of. I want more of this. I've been reading a lot of Milligan and Allred's X-Force and X-Statix. And I really think that would work in the MCU. You know, I wish that the X-Men were already established so they could do this. But, like, fuck, why not? In a couple of years, once they've introduced mutants and the X-Men at large, fucking have X-Force or X-Statix, you know, based off of this run. You can have the Liefeld characters, who gives a shit about them. But, like, have a mix and match of both. Have a fucking X-Force reality show or something on Disney Plus. That would be really cool. You could do like mockumentary, like Wellington Paranormal. I think of how great that would be. Just something new and different they need to do. And I hope that they do it more and more. Because I really like this. I really enjoy that they're playing with the format more. I doubt they're going to that much, but if in a perfect world they would. They would experiment. Let's see. QUANTUMANIA! Randall Park returns as Jimmy Woo! Hell yeah, I'm glad he's back. The MODOK design was leaked. We first saw it in that leaked trailer from SDCC. He has a big helmet. Everybody is losing their shit because, like, MODOK doesn't wear a helmet. He looks silly. He looks dumb. The motherfucker has a giant head with a little body. How can he look cool? I love MODOK. I don't give a shit. I like the design. I think it looks good. It makes sense that he would have some sort of armor plating because he's stuck in the fucking quantum zone. There's also a leak, or a rumor rather, that Scott Lang, the premise of this film is that Scott and associates have to do a quantum realm heist for Kang, or else they won't get Cassie back. Because apparently, I guess Kang kidnaps Cassie, which, now that I'm thinking about it, would explain why Catherine Newton plays her. So the movie's going to start, Kang is going to kidnap young Cassie. She's going to be gone for a while. He's going to show up again later. She's going to be Catherine Newton. That's how it's going to work. But yeah, and then I think Bill Murray is also in this film. He's seemingly going to be the guy that they have to steal something from in the quantum realm. And then, of course, there's MODOK, who is said to be Kang's, like, sort of right-hand man. And that's all I have on QUANTUMANIA. Now I have Loki Season 2. Loki Season 2 is starring Ki-Hu Kwan, I think is how you pronounce his name. Never heard it pronounced. Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. He was also in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I still have, unfortunately, not seen. Regrettably, I have not seen it yet. He is going to be playing a TVA employee. From Slash Film, which is they're detailing the footage shown at SDCC. Let's see. Loki is back at the TVA reading a manual before he greets someone off screen. In the middle of his hello, he glitches. He's not supposed to be there. There are plenty more glitches to follow as Loki fights his way down a hallway. Later, he chisels away at the walls of the TVA to reveal a big brass face of Kang the Conqueror. In another room, he encounters Ki-Hu Kwan, who appears to be playing a TVA archivist. Elsewhere, we get a glimpse of an old Hollywood premiere and Sylvie listening to records in a music shop. To keep things interesting, Loki and Morbius get a fun costume change. They sport vintage tuxedos, maybe on their way to that Hollywood premiere, maybe they just have more chaos to deal with. Since the next scene sees Loki falling through the middle of the massive TVA building. So, more fun time travel, which I'm fine with. I have no idea what this season's going to be about. Kang, clearly. Sylvie's still around doing stuff, traveling the multiverse, I guess. Maybe we'll see different versions of Kangs. I don't know. Yeah, that's not really all. I don't know. Oh, and I almost skipped something. The footage ends with dialogue from Loki. I don't want you to think I'm the bad guy in all of this. To which Mobius tries to have his back, replying, "Who says you were? Wow, who says you were?" Since it wouldn't be Marvel without a funny on-the-nose joke to cap things off, Loki replies by listing all the many folks who would deem him the villain. Miss Minutes, various Avengers, and even Mobius himself. Which, the first time I read that, I thought it said Morbius, and I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, Mobius, he's seemingly a new version of himself, I guess. Or like he doesn't have any memory of what happened previously. He might be more trustworthy with Loki now, it kind of seems, based on that interaction. Or, you know, I can't remember how that show ended. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He gets his memory wiped. But yeah, God knows what that show is even going to be about. Like I said, I guess it's just them against Kang. Really? Like, who else would there be? Which is what the first season was also about, was them versus Kang. But it wraps it up on the Marvel section of D23. Now moving on to Star Wars. Star Wars has less stuff that I have notes for, but still some good stuff. Starting off with Andor. New trailer. Still haven't watched it. I'm going in blind. All I know is that it's about Cassian Andor, like a couple years before Rogue One. My favorite... actually, there was another trailer, and that is Mandalorian Season 3, which is a little teaser trailer. Yeah, it looks really good. Not too much is shown. Pretty basic stuff. They're going to Mandalore. It's fucking in ruins. And I'm excited. But my favorite is the AHSOKA Reveals. And that was showing, the Rebels ending. If you've watched Star Wars Rebels, you'll know. If you haven't, go watch it. It's incredible. I like it more than the Clone Wars, honestly. But that's just because I really prefer the Empire, like the 20-something years. I think it's just about 20 years, yeah. 19, 20 years of the Empire reigning. It's my favorite era of Star Wars. But it shows the live-action Sabine Wren standing in front of the mural she paints at the end of Star Wars Rebels to, remember all the people they lost, Ezra, Kanan. So it's seemingly, at least part of the show, picks up immediately after Rebels, probably the beginning, and then cuts to the future, which is... how many years is that? I think Rebels ends... When does Rebels end? I honestly don't remember. I'm pretty sure it ends around Empire Strike, or not Empire, Return of the Jedi. So it's like 5 years later, around 5, 6, depending on how long The Mandalorian has been going for. How many years later Season 3 of The Mandalorian is. So, about 5, 6 years later, it's about that. And Ezra Bridger has finally been casted, and it's not Rahul Kohli, thank God. Iman Esfandi is going to play Ezra Bridger, which gives me hope that Grand Admiral Thrawn will make his appearance, played by... what is his name? Admiral Thrawn... Lars Mikkelsen, that's what it is. That's who it is. Played by Lars Mikkelsen. Which, I still don't understand the people who are like, Matt Smith should play Grand Admiral Thrawn. This guy should play Grand Admiral Thrawn. Motherfucker, you already got the fucking perfect actor who does both voice and, physical acting. And he fucking looks like him, too. Look at those cheekbones, people. He looks like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Just paint him blue and put him in a white suit. and you have the guy who played him in the show. But I think Ahsoka is the show I'm most excited for from those announced from the Star Wars stuff. Jude Law, we see his the first appearance in Skeleton Crew, and that is about like it's like the Goonies but in Star Wars or something, I think is what people said it was sort of like. He has a cast of kid characters that he has to take care of or something, and some of them are aliens, which is cool. Finally getting live action main characters who are aliens. Bad Batch releases January 4th, 2023, so those people saying that it was September are horribly wrong. And finally, Tales of the Jedi has been released, or not released, but, you know, they showed a trailer for it, and it looks really cool. It's sort of an anthology. It's going to be about Ahsoka. It's going to be about the Jedi before Phantom Menace. We see that Ahsoka attended Padme's funeral. There's also an Inquisitor that's after her, I think. Is it her? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her. So, seemingly, we're getting Ahsoka as a baby, Ahsoka immediately after Episode 3 and the last season of Clone Wars, and Ahsoka in between Clone Wars and Rebels. Alongside that, we also see Count Dooku, or at the time Master Dooku, and his Padawan Qui-Gon Jinn, as well as Mace Windu and Dooku, and fucking Yaddle. Yaddle is making an appearance in this show. Maybe it'll be... No, I guess it won't be when she died. 'Cause she dies after Phantom Menace. I think she's, like, imprisoned or something. But, yeah, that's a really cool-looking show. I like that they went back to the Clone Wars animation style. That's neat. But, yeah, that wraps it up on all my stuff I have about D23. A lot more Marvel than it was Star Wars. There was some Indiana Jones stuff, but not as much as I would hope, or as I had hoped. What do you think about all the D23 news? What do you think about the episode 4 and 5 of She Hulk? What do you think episode 5 is going to be about? Who do you think is going to be the villain that they have to fight? Do you think Frogman's finally going to be introduced? Or you think he's the mastermind behind the whole blood scheme thing, and he's going to be one of the final 3 episodes? Let me know in the comments. As always, Destructo Boy, The Heir of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2 is on sale for $9.99 plus shipping and handling at etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. It comes with an autograph and a free head sketch included inside. Issue 2 and 3 are coming very soon, as I said before, which is Part 2 of Alpha Cardinal and Part 1 of The Eclipse of Googleplex. What happens when an all-new giant robot makes his reign in Zephyrus Station? Find out. Yeah, check those out. It supports me. It helps me out. You know, they're fun little comics. I've only heard good things from people who've bought them. It's decompressed storytelling, so each issue has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So check it out. And that is all I have to say for this week. Don't know what I'm talking about next week, like as seemingly is the routine here. But we are getting close to Halloween, which means that I'm going to be talking about some scary stuff pretty soon. I don't know what that was. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below and everything like that. And I'll see you next time. Bye!